This is my road, let it roll. Pack my dreams in a beat up leather case, left the dust of that suffocating place. They said a girl like me should stay in line, but I'd rather lose their map than lose my mind. Tune the radio to a station playing wild and free. Windows down, smelling like the pine trees. 500 miles and I'm just getting started. Say goodbye to the heavy-hearted. Oh, nobody's holding the reins tonight. I'm chasing the edge of the morning light. This is my highway, my open sky. I've got the wings and I'm ready to fly. No yellow lines can tie me down. I'm leaving my tracks all over this town. Freedom, freedom, yeah. Now they call me an outlaw, call me a breeze, shaking the leaves right off of the trees. Ain't no speed limits on the choices I make, with every single risk that I happily take. Got a heart like an engine, loud and true, writing my own rules. Nothing brand new, just an old soul singing with the modern beat, dusting off the pavement under my feet. This is my highway, my open sky. I've got the wind, can tie me down. I'm leaving my tracks all over this town. Freedom, freedom, yeah, ooh, yeah. And if I get lost in the dark of the night, I know my own stars will show me the light. No more shadows to cover my face. I'm running my pace, I'm winning my race. Freedom, yeah, just let it roll.
Well, good afternoon, every single person. I am so thrilled to be here today. You have tuned in to Phoenix. This is Phoenix Talks, where we find the truth. So us truthers are out there looking for the truth, uncovering it in the IDAHO4 case in deep dives, deep detail, and we will not stop till we have answers. And with the recent downloads of documents, oh my gosh, thousands of pages, full bare chest, I don't see how Brian Kohberger would ever say he did this horrible, awful murders in regards to Kaylee, Ethan, Xana, and Maddie in Moscow, Idaho, back in November of 2022. And I have a feeling, just a hunch, that this is not the end of this ordeal. Now, do me a favor. We're going to talk about a hot topic today. Give me a solid thumbs up if you haven't yet. Doesn't cost anything. I come on and I stream every single day, Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I do apologize for yesterday's boo-boo. If I had known I put it for yesterday, I would have done it yesterday. I was very available and free and just resting and regathering my thoughts this weekend. And of course, you are very important to me. And I know that there's other creators out there talking about these documents in bits and pieces. And I've thrown a couple of highlighted videos. And it's a shame. And I'll just say this because I'm going to keep it for another stream. I'm ashamed I am so ashamed of our judicial system, of investigations, of prosecutors, of fact checkers, of the news media. I mean, y'all, I don't know if you saw this video of mine, and this is how I feel about this. You know that I'm not very vocal. From a standpoint, I'm not shouting from the rooftops. I was a long time ago. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that, you know, I believe in our constitutional rights 100%. I won't back down from that. I don't think any American should back down from our God given rights. And I put this video up there realizing someone got the shaft. Of course, I had to remove the music or else I'll get dinged. But realizing someone got the shaft, so you start your own podcast. All right. That right there is just fire in my eyes. Why? Because who else is going to stand up for our freedom, for our constitutional rights? Are we just all sitting back and saying, well, it really doesn't matter. We're all so busy in this day and age and the economy. And are we just so busy that we don't care about our rights anymore? And I'll get on a tangent if you allow me. A couple years ago in Boston, people weren't standing up for their right to say no to a SHOT during the VID. And unfortunately, some words you have to spell out on here because they will totally axe you. And they wanted to push so hard, and look back now at what they're learning about these VAXXENs, right? And I'm not going to sit up here on a soapbox today. I want to get focused in on who Gideon was and was he exposed, because I know that that's the content you came here for. And we're still not done. The internet's not done talking about the IDAHO4 and how much injustice that we have seen in this entire case. No one's paying me. I'm independent. I don't belong to any agency. I will always be independent. And, I believe 100%, and I've said it from the beginning. Whoa, sorry, I don't know why that music started playing. That dude took the fall for who? Who did he take the fall for? Why? Was he really railroaded? And I keep going back in my mind over and over and over again to that simple little picture that we got a glimpse of maybe what was really happening in the courtroom. Of course, I think, in my humble opinion, of course, I've talked about this before, some of I should put a little list together of the most top pictures out of this whole show, this case, whatever you want to call it. I know people have their own opinions, but this case that has been national, worldwide. And I think to myself, some of these pictures that we have seen, have not seen, are going to see, yada, yada, yada. I hate using that phrase, but I just got to say it. That we have seen really showcase how this case went about. Really. I mean, the scene that just gets me and the picture that always gets me is the way Kohberger looked at his attorney, and just the sheer, oh my God, that's it. It's over. And now what? And it's like nothing. Right? So, I mean, I'm very skeptical there's ever going to be a filing. I only hope and pray that after all these documents continue to drop, that they're not going to stop dropping, that we're going to see more truth, more information, more. I mean, we're always asking for more because they don't want it out. What would be the reason? other than a shoddy investigation. Some people, obviously, I don't care how entitled you are. If you have done a crime, you are no better than anyone else. This kind of feels like they're just giving somebody the rein to go out there and do this again. I mean, I don't understand. You know, I just don't understand. And this is the picture that I'm talking about. Convincing him to take the plea deal, allowing him to take the plea deal, and then to walk away. I do pray that something is on the back end. So, welcome in Phoenix Talks. We're not here to accuse anyone. We're here for commentary and entertainment purposes. You know, we're not going to slander, defame, harm, or threaten anyone in this case or publicly related information. But we're going to look it should be concerning to every American. I mean, guys, how many people are tuning in from overseas, looking under rocks, reading documents, watching videos? How many have seriously even contemplated this case could be skewed or messed up, right? How many of these people out there are questioning? They see us talking about this all the time, right? They see people talking about this all the time. Aren't they wondering why yet? If you guys haven't seen this video, I'm just going to do a quick recap and then we're going to get into Gideon.
The bloody footprint outside of Dylan's store. Hunter, why do you have shoes on that are too small? Where are your shoes, Dylan, and why are those too big? In the interview, look at the sole of the Vans. Will they fit the puzzle? What do you think? Tiny? Big feet? Big feet?
I'm the only one that I know saw anything. Like, at least I don't think them saw it because they were too scared to like go check it out.
Okay.
Only one to see him. So who stepped in blood? And who cleaned up the bloody print outside of Dylan's store? I wonder if we'll ever find out this answer. Y'all know the drill. Be well.
I wonder if we'll ever find.
Are these the shoes?
I wonder if we'll ever find the answer to this because, you know, people have been saying, oh, it was Vans. They were right inside of Dylan's room. No, it was Converse. And, you know, I'm like, they didn't match up to a Converse. They didn't match up to the style van she had. The only possible match that I have seen to date is this van shoe slide. I looked through all the pictures, and this is just a follow-up. I looked through all the pictures of Xana's room because everyone kept saying, oh, Xana had a pair of black sliders. I didn't see them. And then someone says, oh, there's a pink pair. I'm like, okay, we'll go through the videos. I'll do a follow-up on this one. And we'll see if any of those other ones match. But, you know, people were commenting, oh, it's the Converse. And I'm like, nah, the sole can't be right. It doesn't make a fit. So where can I order those Cinderella shoes? Well, it was on Vans. It was on the Van site. So welcome everyone in. I'm sorry for the confusion. Hey, no talkie before coffee if you're in here. Welcome in Dina, Caleb, Tammy. Good to see you. I know, I'm so sorry. You guys have got a teasers. Hola, Lola. Peony, good to see you. Munson, welcome back. I hope you're doing better. Inked Mama, welcome in. Lulu Bell, good to see you as always. Donna Rosa, we've got a lot of OGs in the house tonight. Whoop, whoop. Terry, good to see you. I hope you are good. Good to see you. I'm sure going to throw some fireballs in here today. You guys know I do. You guys know I come with receipts. We're going to have a good time up in here. Kim, hey, hit the thumbs up button. I can see you all. Susie Littleby, welcome in. Good to see you. Miss you on the weekends too. Yep. hugs and kisses. And if you have a birthday month, whoop, whoop. If you get picked for an amazing comment, you'll be put in the $50 Amazon drawing we have at the end of the month this month. And if you become a member this month, you get put in the $50 July drawing. Hello, Private Gemini. We're just getting started. Hey, Michelle. Then Phoenix teases us, and then there is something to Gideon. Yeah, there's something to Gideon. Remember, Dylan had it on her arm. So let's get into this. Gideon. Who was Gideon? I've had so many comments since I showed Gideon Amer. Now, if you remember Gideon Amer, and this might be a little bit of a live dig, and I love live digs, but when you think about this, you know, the IDAHO4 case, my name is Lola. Lola Garcia, welcome in. Greenwood, welcome in. Greenwood Dave, got my daughter on a heart monitor. Praise the Lord. Going for a tilt table test next week and an echo next month. Oh, that is fabulous. I am so glad you did that. I remember seeing a photo of Claire and Gideon. Oh man, you are okay. So if I showed you Gideon, would you? Well, I've already showed you. You already know at least 3 Gideons so far, right? So let's do a little interactive live where we follow the clues, follow the information, and see which Gideon logically best fits this scenario. All right, so let's go here first. Let me just share this screen. Let's go to the most, we can do this backwards. We can do this forwards. Oh, before I start, y'all, 2 days ago, this was July 11th on Saturday. Okay. Now, you know for a fact, all these new documents have been released. We've been reading those documents. I've been highlighting them in some videos. And you know what? Why is the media still saying this? Brian Kohberger's chilling murder blueprint exposed. Newly unsealed, just 2 days ago. Newly unsealed records detail months of planning before he brutally slaughtered 4 Idaho college students. Now, who gets a kick off of still writing this crap? Y'all, I can't make this shit up. I can't. And it's just so disgusting. It is so it's just beyond disgusting. Way beyond disgusting. You know, I don't know how somebody can sleep at night not reading the document themselves and then writing stuff like this. Daniel Guerra, I am sending him an email as soon as I get off this live. Okay? New records exposed how he used a knife to murder 4 college students. Newly released court documents in the detail the immense time and effort it took to brutally slay them. The murderer, who cut a plea deal in order to avoid the death penalty, spent months planning the attack and then meticulously tried to cover his tracks on a cross-country escape. Now, again, I don't even remember there being a all-points bulletin out, and I surely don't remember a massive manhunt. So wake me up on the other side of reality, because I'm reading the documents, court record, and are you telling me that this journalist can't read? And how much are they getting paid? I mean, it's obviously, is it per hit piece or is it salary, or, you know, are they paid to push this narrative continuing? We know he confessed to avoid the death penalty. He had no details. There was no information, no leads, no idea where the weapon is. You can't talk if you don't know. And that was anybody else arrested? We proved that was false. All his attorney said was he can't wait to be exonerated, right? While a motive for this massacre has never been revealed, the new court documents paint a picture of a man who knew exactly what he was doing. On the night of March 20th, for more than a year of his crime, Kohberger bought a $130 Amazon gift card despite already having his own active account. I wonder if we got the same report. I wonder if the news media gets the same reports that we get directly from the court website. Does anybody know? No confession, no allocution. Absolutely, Caleb. This is purely made up. I know, right? And the media is protected to say whatever they want. Well, they're getting an email from me. And then he said the next morning he bought a K-bar full-size marine knife. Well, in the documents, it says it's the wrong knife. Oh my God. The knife Kohberger bought is the wrong knife that did this damage to those 4 kids. Hello. Did anybody read the documents yet? Oh man. If people are sharing, please listen. He bought the wrong knife, guys. And even, like I said months ago, Dr. Singh, who did the autopsies, could not say it was from a K bar. They said it was a like knife. Not make this shit up. You can't. And then he bought a sharpener. Okay. And the order was shipped to his parents' home. Yes, his mom has said that she wanted him to be protected should he be out in the middle of the wilderness, where he lived at the time before moving cross country to enroll at WSU Pullman. All right. We know he was paid very well in his job. We know he was paid very well. Marianne recalled a conversation that Brian obtained something to defend himself in event of a bear attack because he liked to hike. Well, that makes sense. However, agents also revealed Marianne was unaware if Kohberger had purchased anything for the murder. Like, would he tell his mother? Like, oh my gosh. But was unaware of Brian specifically purchasing a knife. Now, she wanted him to be protected as any mother would be concerned. Out in a new area, no friends, because remember, he is an incel, right? No friends to go hiking with, no friends to hang out with. But yet in some of these reports, some guy on a motorcycle came to visit him. He had maybe some girls that were interested in, a married woman, surely, that was interested in him. And he had no interest in a married woman. And I could go on. Even that WSU found no wrongdoing in anything that he did. They fired him and pegged him for a murder. Well, the weapon has never been recovered. The sheath was found on Mogan's bed following the crime. Well, some say it was on the floor, some say it was staged, some say it was placed there. That will forever be a mystery in my mind. Drop a 1 if you agree. I don't think we're ever going to know the truth about that. Despite the damning discovery, Kohberger's mother still insisted her son could never hurt a fly. And then we saw how nice he was at the DMV. I'm sure they said something derogatory about this one. I definitely need to get my license plate changed because, hey, dude, they're going to expire. And this guy making money, you don't want to pay any extra for not following the rules. I don't. So I do it the day before or the week before or the day of, right? I mean, come on, or else you're going to pay late fees and penalties, and that could be a big mess. At one point, the worker mentioned how safe the Washington area was before haphazardly mentioning the murders to the actual killer. I can't make this up. Oh my God, it just makes me mouth vomit. Oh my gosh. This freaking, in my humble opinion, this newspaper writer. Total clown. total clown. You get a big pink X. Yeah, let's report accurately. Can you imagine the world we would live in if people reported accurately, that they waited time to get the actual court records, to wait to get the investigative reports? Could you imagine that, what our world would look like? Freaking men, what would our world look like? Totally different, I would say. All right, so let's get into Gideon. All right, so there is Gideon Amer, and Gideon Amer was the very first person that we looked at. If you are questioning what he looks like, there are plenty of pictures. You can go back to the original Gideon video. And as I started to notice patterns, as more people start to notice patterns, there is a lot of confusion. A lot of confusion because these records are redacted. We still don't know much. We don't have a timeline. And if you saw my timeline the other day, we still don't have that. We're going to be talking about that tomorrow. So definitely get on board with that. So I am going to switch this and we are going to look at this. I'm trying to watch the chat because I want this to be very interactive. Now, what I show you is all public. I'm not telling you anything private that shouldn't be put out there. All right. And yeah, I really hope that you guys recover from some of this. Yeah, an honest world? Could that be so far-fetched, right? I dug so deep that it literally got physically sick. You have to take care of your body, soul, your finances, your emotions. Yeah, Susie Littleby, you have to take a step back and just take a break sometimes. So let's get into Gideon. So there's 3 options that we know of so far. There's Gideon Amer. So let's walk through this process. And, obviously I showed you a clip, an interview where he's talking about spirituality. And it was a radio show that I showed you, a Christian radio show. He doesn't have very much social media. I'm just telling you from what we see. But he does have his friends list on. Okay. And let's just look at some of the friends that he is friends with, and let's see if this is a Boise guy. I know this is a Boise guy because I noticed the uniform. I know he got married, it looks like. One of his friends. And the reason I'm showing you this guy is it's very important to take note of this guy. All right. So this is Paul Masad that's friends with Gideon Amer. All right. And let's see if there's any other friends that we recognize that possibly could be connected. Well, Peter and Paul Masad are both brothers. Okay, they're from Lebanon, I believe. And God, family, then friends. And this is Masad's dad. All right, so I know you might have to take a step back, but this is Peter and Paul's dad that is friends with Gideon Amer. And Gideon Amer, remember, it just said that Gideon was hanging out with Dylan. All right. And that was in the broken plea deal. And let me give you that exact time frame that we're looking at from the broken plea deal. And that was, let me just take a quick peek because I didn't write it down. And it's right before here. So Yessie must also know this Gideon. And I think after we narrow this down and take a look at all 3 of them, I think you'll start to see a pattern. Hopefully everyone will understand exactly what we are talking about here. So let me just pull this and let me grab this for you so that you can see this. I'm going to share this with you. And this is pretty cool about what we do here. Everything is live, unscripted, and that means that sometimes things don't go as planned and sometimes they even go better. Okay. So I'm going to share this little screen with you. Let's see if it pops up. Okay, here we go. So let's get rocking and rolling, Dexter the projector. I brought Dexter out. And here is Lake was hanging out with them, or that was Josie. I'm not sure, but there's a lot to uncover here, you guys. I have been researching and searching, and it has been crazy. So at 22:30, which is 10, 21, 22, which is about 10:30, okay? Dylan arrives at Sigma Chi. Now, was Gideon a pledge or a member of Sigma Chi? I don't know. But what I did find out about him is that obviously Dylan makes shit up. Yeah, she could have just wrote that shit on her arm just to blame somebody else, right? I mean, I'm just saying, anyone, it's free game here. Now, it says that apartment 4, Ethan, Gideon, Yessie, Hunter, Xana, and Dylan were there, obviously. And then Dylan and Gideon were in and out of the lodge before going to Peter's apartment. All right. So if you take a look at the steps, Dylan went to Peter's apartment. Now, the last person to see, sorry for all my notes, the last person to see Ethan was who? Was anyone who is not Greek listed at all in these docs? No, not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of. Greenwood, Dave, 9924. Now, the last 2 people, and I'm saying 2 people, the last 2 people to see Ethan. We know Pete is one, okay? Who was the other? According to the book, according to the timeline, according to the court records, according to everything that we found so far, and according to Ethan's own cell phone. Okay, Ethan's own cell phone. Allegedly, Pete and possibly Hunter Johnson, allegedly. Because Hunter kept trying to meet up with him. There were texts back and forth. And there was, Hunter Chapin? Hunter Chapin? Was Hunter even with his brother? Kyle. Wow, that's food for thought. Ethan's phone at midnight 43, which would be 12:43. I don't know why they put 24. 2400 is 12:43. Ethan's cell phone timeline, page 105 on somebody's working documents. It's Ethan text Yip when responding to Hunter J, asking if he was still at Sigma Chi. So Hunter had to have known where Ethan's whereabouts were. Did they meet up? Not together, just saw each other in calls. Okay. That's a possibility. But then Ethan's cell shows half an hour before that, Xana tries to call. No one. And it doesn't have any listing for where Hunter C is. Now, according to the documentary, if anyone remembers, that he was said to have basically, was at the apartment, but then, somebody can't really place him at the apartment. They're not sure. So Hunter is sketch in my book because we don't know his whereabouts. Just like Connor Chestnut. They say he was alone, still questioning those whereabouts. Okay. Now, if you remember, I would probably say the last two people to see Ethan or had any conversation with him may have been Hunter Johnson and definitely Pete, right? And then we learn, I don't know if you guys have heard this, read this, seen this. We learn that Reed Offstrom, a Sigma Chi president at the time that was interviewed by the media, and he basically said he had nothing to say, comes out and says, oh, by the way, Kaylee was dating Hunter Johnson. Okay, so that was another bombshell I learned this weekend. Where did I find that? Well, I think, hold on, let me just go ahead and pull it back up. Reed Offstrom. Oh God, how do you spell his name again? He was the Sigma Chi president. And here it is. And I'll show you the clip real quick. And then we'll have that as we go along. Kaylee. Let's see if I can find a keyword, and then we'll just go right to that. Dating. Okay, here it is. 2035. Okay, let's go back about 5 seconds, and I'll put this up on the screen. And let me take this down. Okay. All right, here we go. So let's listen to a little bit of this. It is on Outcast website. And let's just go to the exact location and listen just to a clip of this real quick. All right, here we go. Get ready. Let's see what he has to say. Hey, welcome into the chat. I think so. I think so. Yep, they did. They all dated each other. Remember, we had musical friends. Musical friends, guys. Yeah, it was a fireball when I saw it. All right. Why is this not playing? And this interview was very interesting. If you guys get a chance, let me just drop the link in the chat for all transparency so that you can go back and listen to it yourself. He was a little standoffish, in my humble opinion. And then the other interviewer, the other detective, starts grilling him a little more, starts asking, more reasonable questions. And then he basically...
Okay, interesting.
Was dating anybody from the house?
Not from our house. I believe, and I could be wrong on this. I believe she's dating a guy named. I believe, and I don't know if that's still going on or even if I have that right. But I thought I remember he was dating someone named. And I know it's not the twin. She's dating like
I know it's not Hunter, the twins.
another. I believe his last name was.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Reed, thank you. We're going to continue on. We have.
So they were asking questions about who was dating who in the house. I think it was pretty clear. We cleared that up. That could be some type of possible passion love triangle. And some people do know for sure. So obviously, if, there was a lot of hostility or jealousy, then it possibly can be that from that also, right? We can speculate all we want because we still don't know. No one has confirmed it. And why are they keeping this such a big secret? I have no idea. All right. So Gideon Amer, we've just gone that route, and we're looking to see if there's any friends they have in common, which led us down this road, which Keep that in mind, Peter and Paul Masad. Okay. So here's Claire. Claire was at the University of Idaho, and Gideon is friends with Claire. I feel like we're doing 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, right? And then let's look and see if anyone else is friends with Gideon Amer. And remember, he graduated from Boise. And I don't see very many people on here that look any familiar with this case, right? We're talking about the main characters in this case. And I think I did see one, University of Idaho, Utah, which I thought was interesting. And I think there was another one. Hold on. Oh, Zach McClure, right? That was an interesting one. Zach McClure. And I think that's about it. Oh, Yessie. Friends with Yessie. Okay, so yeah, Campus Manor at UT's at University of Idaho. All right. So he would know some of the players involved, right? Key players. Yessie was mentioned, couldn't get her to an actual serve her for a subpoena to come to court, which I thought was interesting. Very interesting. All right. So you've got Yessie, you've got Claire, and then you do have Zach McClure. Those are 3 key individuals that also know Pete. Think of the connections they have. Jenna, Hayden, Zach, Gideon, Amer. Let's see who else may be connected to Claire. Lakeland, Elgorgia. You can kind of go and see. She's kind of friends with Bethany, with all these people. All right. So there's 4 degrees of separation. Dahl, Dahl, Dahl. And let's see if any other names look familiar. There's a few. So I would say, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, drop a number that you feel that maybe this is the Gideon that Dylan was hanging out with, coming and going. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, what's your thoughts or about possibly Dylan was hanging out with this individual? And he knew Maddie. Obviously, Claire knew Maddie. And that was it. There's the connection. And then here's that picture with Claire. All right. So some of you were saying 5. Someone's saying or 0. Now, remember, you have to know somebody within the organization to get in these parties. Okay. So, well, if I knew who Hunter J was, then very possible. Oh, Hunter Johnson? Girl. Yeah. If he knew Hunter J. Well, Dylan said in an interview she was with him, with Gideon, but she didn't say what Gideon. Yep. And it was on her arm. Gideon was here. I'm feeling pretty confident that this might be the connection with Maddie, Bethany, Dylan, Kaylee, Claire. I'm feeling pretty confident that this is the Gideon that Dylan may have been saying, yeah, I was with Gideon. Dylan said, I don't think Dylan said Gideon. The book Broken Please says Gideon. I don't remember hearing her say Gideon. I'll have to go back and listen to her interviews again or search them. But I do know that obviously there is another Gideon in this case that's referenced. Okay. So another name, Gideon, that's referenced is our famous Gideon Roberts. Does everybody remember who he is? And I'll refresh your memory. He is the ISP detective that arrived on the scene that started doing, and I'll read you this little clip from the new documents that dropped. This was November 13th around 5 o'clock. Idaho State Police Detective Talbot and prosecuting attorneys Bill Thompson and Ashley Jennings toured the residence. So that would be on body cam. And I think we do have that over on Connor's page. And Gideon Roberts is the detective that was assigned this case. So around 5 o'clock. So there is a camera. I can't remember exactly which body cam it is, but it's starting to get dark. It's a late afternoon body cam. Let me see if this is it. No, this is not the right one. And you see him walk into the house, and they're out there with their little trailer, and they're starting to do their assessment and starting to walk through, and Ashley Jennings shows up, and all the, big wigs show up, and it says around 5 o'clock. I think it's Morris's camera. I want to say it's Morris. So let me run over here and let me see if I can find it, the accurate timing, because we want that. So live dig, we're on a live dig today, and we've got a lot of information. So here is Connor's channel, and it says around 5 o'clock. I think we debunked this. Actually, that's the right time. So it's getting dark. They're out there. They're going to start walking up. So they're going to start walking up, and then you'll see Gideon Roberts. That is the detective Gideon Roberts. So where is he? He's going to start walking up here. All right, here we go.
T-A-L-B-O-T-T. And
Talbot.
T-A-L-B-O-T-T. Let me get my degrees open.
157, 171.
And then use it back right now.
I think Sarge.
Okay, hold on, nowhere.
17. Or interest 1700.
And this is when Gunderson goes to the back door.
Okay, these are all messed up.
I would like you to do your walkthrough, your video.
Oh, it'd be old and broken.
3 coming in. What do we have down there first?
So there's the church bells in the background.
Where the tooth of refuge. Okay.
Now, keep in mind, I found a consistency with this statement. The detective is giving him a background of what happened in this house. And he says the room to the right to where they're walking in, is where the two took refuge. Okay, the two took refuge. We are going to have a huge live about this. We did a live before, but with what I uncovered this weekend, you guys are going to flip. You're going to absolutely flip when I give you the accurate timeline. The cops knew. But Listen to what he says. So this is where the two took refuge, which we thought they did, in fact, take refuge. That window was locked to this room. That door to the right, we know something happened in this bedroom. To the right, the empty spare bedroom. The brother came in. And he says one of them was stabbed. I don't know if you guys have been listening and catching some of the things that this detective is saying in the background. One of them was stabbed. And I'm thinking it was Ethan. I'm thinking Ethan was stabbed first. Blood was, on him, out of him. He went up the stairs and touched the handrail. Somebody missed that part in cleaning up the scene. This is my humble opinion. Listening to this whole body cam over again gave me a very new perspective on what we know according to the documents.
Yes, sir. Bathroom.
Now they're showing them the bathroom, and then they'll move on to Bethany's room all the way to the other side. Now, I know that Gideon walks up, they say about 5 o'clock, but he walks up about here.
Morning after. Yeah. You might as well. I'll just yell for it.
Now here's Jennings, and it's about 5:03, so that's about right.
You're 103, right, Captain?
Yes. Hey, Brett. Yeah. Ashley wants the tag on your birth walkthrough. Oh, well. There you go. Okay, you can mark me back out at the same time.
First.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Now, does anybody see Bill Thompson?
How are you guys doing? Personnel. Be a cobalt.
There's
Just walked out
Laker.
faster. No, I'm good. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Gideon. Jake.
There's Gideon. So that's it. 5:23.
I'm not going in yet. Okay. You think?
We're gonna be here a while. You want a quick walkthrough real quick? Some video?
Yeah, let me throw my booties on real quick before I step in the house. And then,
You got
So that is Gilbertson right here drinking the coffee. Gideon's a tall, thin guy. Obviously, they...
That's the only thing else on this middle floor, people-wise, and then the very top of the stairs.
That's Gideon Roberts right here. This guy.
Up to the
Y'all see him right here? He was standing behind the other guy. He just walked up. He doesn't have a beanie on. He's got his hands in his pocket. He's
I'm
about
not sure.
40s.
As soon as he gets a video of that on the outside, Without breaking our equipment, I'll have you start. It sounds like it's a partial print.
Okay, so that's Gideon Roberts. Now that everybody knows who Gideon Roberts is. All right. So that was 5:23-ish. They show up to walk the house. All right, so let's understand a little bit about Detective Gideon Roberts. He lives in, I mean, he's got a 208 number, right? I don't know his whole full background, but I started looking at where he possibly could have lived in the past. And I mean, the ISP main headquarters is in Meridian, right? So if you look around a little, this one lines up. There is a ISP document 0051. And if you look at this document, you'll be able to see that it lines up pretty much to what we just saw on the video. So, I mean, the reports are pretty accurate. If you've got video, it's easy to go and, obviously write your reports. But this report was written by Walker Brady. I don't know who Walker Brady is because I couldn't find a picture, but basically said that they go and they canvass Gideon Roberts. There is ISP Detective Roberts. That is how, obviously, I connected Gideon Roberts, and there's actual reports, and you can see his name on a few of them, and the documents that just dropped. Okay, so I don't think, in my humble opinion, I don't think a ISP detective that maybe lives in Boise would be hanging around with a bunch of, kids in college at a frat party, or even be able to get inside a party that is so hard to get into. He's hiding his hand for some reason. Weird how he was reaching for that, but never takes it out of his hand. It's not a normal reaction. Yeah, but you know what? There's another, Gunderson is walking around the back, entering through the back while everybody's around outside standing in front. And then he sneaks back by. It was so weird, right? Is it suspicious behavior? Yes. Did he do something nefarious? We don't know. We can't speculate. I mean, we can speculate, but I'm not going to say he did something wrong because we don't know, right? We know that there's some past cases that are very, very suspicious. So now, and it's hard to find information on these cops. It's not too hard. It's not too hard. Now, let's think about this logically, and this is where I need your help. If Gideon Roberts is, let's just say he's got a 208 number, right? Because there's plenty of information out there on the internet that I was able to find that's all public. We're not sharing anything that's private. We only share things that are public. And he's got a law enforcement brand inspector. That's what Gideon Roberts. And it says his number is 208. He works with the ISP. You can go ahead and take a peek at, Open Pay Gov. It'll say what he's getting paid, how long he's been working for the ISP since 2015, where he started as a trooper and he moved up pretty fast. Right? In my humble opinion, he's moved up pretty fast. So 2015, he started in, 5 years. He went up to a specialist. And then after that, it looks like he was only on a trooper status for less than a year. I mean, he must be really hot shot or really good at his job, right? So even if you're just coming in, do 1.5 or 2.0. I'm not talking too fast today, so you could probably catch up very quickly. All right. So I found quite a bit of information on him. And then I realized that if there was more information, it would probably be, I really wouldn't want to share showing certain things, right? But here's the deal. If he was on scene per this document, and they say he was on scene at roughly 5 o'clock, well, we just know for sure he arrived around, 5 it says 5:23 he enters the house, but it doesn't say exactly what time he arrived there. So I question if he's out of Boise, let me just see how long that drive is. I think it's 5 hours. Boise, Idaho to Moscow, Idaho. 5 hours and 19 minutes. Okay. There it is. 5 hours and 19 minutes. So if I'm driving from Boise to Moscow, could this be why there was an 8-hour delay? Were they waiting for a specialist to get there on site? Gideon Roberts seemed to had a very prominent role in this investigation. If, in my opinion, allegedly, Gideon was written on Dylan's arm, could that be why it took so long to call 911? Was there a call earlier in the night where maybe they got it and they had to wait to initiate a 911 call? Is that possible? Let's find Rosie. Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, think about the process. The main headquarters is out of Meridian, Idaho. It would take 5 hours to get there, a few hours to look at the scene, try to figure out what they were going to do, try to figure out who to coordinate with, and think about all the freaking FBI that were there the next day. Think about the big, massive operation that was underway in regards to the student murders. Is that possible? But they haven't told us much, so here we are speculating and trying to figure it out. Is that why there was an 8-hour delay? Could that be possible? Maybe. I mean, somebody can do some more research and see exactly where Gideon is stationed out of, because I just don't see anywhere where he can be stationed out of. And I'm going to keep digging and digging until I find answers. Okay? I will keep digging. Now, that is one for the books. Now, the last guy that we're going to talk about is Gideon Lauda. The guy I found that looks like BK, that could possibly be of some relation. I haven't done all his background. I haven't done anything like that. I've kind of just been looking. But we've talked about Gideon Lauda for sure. Could he be hanging around some, college kids? I highly doubt that. But could he be involved in an investigation? I think possibly, absolutely. What are your thoughts? I mean, it is a small world. Is Gideon related to Adam? We sure don't know. Is Gideon related to Brian Kohberger through some, genetic line? Now that we know the genetic line that they were searching from the documents dropped this weekend or past week, guys, there is, oh my God, here we go. FGG this case was so criticized by the experts. Forensic genealogy was a freaking bust. Okay. The expert of all experts basically said they picked the wrong family line that should have never led them to Kohberger. All right? Because the FBI uploaded a alias, I don't want to say fake, profile in genetic or genealogy or GEDmatch or something of that nature, one of the programs they used. Okay? Now, what they did is they went down the wrong family tree, alleged. All right? And it says, the expert says, my ability to do this, they didn't give this information. They didn't give this information to the defense every single time they asked for names. They wanted to know the genealogy that they were building. And here it is. Okay? Here's the proof, because I always bring you receipts. I always want to make sure that you have all the receipts. And here it is. On page 125, make a note. 125. And this is in the 1,000+ freaking pages that were released. Okay? Now, Othram was ordered to cease the work on December 10th. Remember, December 10th was a big, huge day for this case. There was a private meeting. All the cops were sitting around. All the figureheads, all the authority were sitting around. Okay? Page 124, it starts. And then, and they say basically the FBI violated the Department of Justice policy on FGG. Guys, they were calling out this agency. They were calling it out. And I will put this page and a couple of pages on the website, Justice for All. An innocent man possibly sitting behind bars for all his life. I cannot. Oh, it just irks me, and I don't want to get spicy up in here because I want to focus. So they basically said, and this is proof, they uploaded a crime scene profile to Family Tree DNA and GEDmatch Pro, the two main databases that allow forensic genealogy searches on or before December 8th, guys. December 8th. A key, very key date to remember also. I have no reason to believe that Othram did not follow the appropriate protocols to access these two databases. Okay? Now, they have proof of this. The main matches on the 10th were RK sharing 70.7 cm, and I'll go over that. And then HS sharing 60 cm. Othram described those as low matches, and there is a footnote, 28. It has a Bates number here, okay? Footnotes are important, guys. Then RK and HS are third cousin to one another and share the second set of great-grandparents, Clark, Lewis, Tyler, and Ellen Burke. And guys, I've done the background on these people. The most likely possibilities were the known subject was a descendant from one of the 8 children of the Tyler Burke marriage, or from a sibling of either Clark Tyler or Ellen Burke. Othram recommended testing a descendant of another Tyler Burke child. That step could have taken weeks or months. That would have not led directly to Brian Kohberger. Fact. Because he is a descendant from a different sibling altogether. And this from Othram is the footnote. And here you see Othram recommended testing a grandchild of John Ansel Tyler. Brian Kohberger is descendant from John Ansel Tyler's sister, Agnes. Even with rushing pricing and crime scene kit in this case, took 15 days from arrival to Othram's lab to being available in the database on 12/7/22. So when they said, oh, forget about December 5th, we made a mistake. No. There was no mistake, and I have called it out since day one. IGG, FGG is only as good as the investigator. I have said that from day one. I know about genetics, enough to know the investigator. This field needs help, in my humble opinion. And they looked at the Bates. They have the lab, Bates, and then the Bates number. Contacting the Tyler Burke descendants and getting consent for testing would have added the turnaround time, so we can safely assume that it would have taken weeks or months. And that indeed is probably the 4 brothers. And if it is the male side, and Ellen Burke married a Tyler, then are we looking for another Tyler, or are we looking for someone that was born out of wedlock with a Burke name? All right. So there is just a little tidbit of information. Now, when you go on to, you can go on and look at a little bit more. Then it says an email updated on the 14th. All right. Between a redacted sender and recipient shows a match of 91 cm, a much higher, and the alias SC at the crime scene profile. Othram would have reported the match to SC if they'd seen it. Instead, the highest match they reported was 70.7 cm. And SC was opted out of forensic matching. That means SC would have been invisible if that profile to Othram was uploaded. That means there was another greater profile out there that would match. Again, this suggests that the FBI uploaded their manipulated profile through the layperson portal at GEDmatch so they could see people who had not consented to forensic matching. 33 on Bates, 15322, 15323, which we don't have access to the Bates, okay? This would have violated both the DOJ and the policy and terms of service with GEDmatch. What they did was illegal or unethical. Drop one below. What do you think? And who are these 4 brothers? Who are these 4 brothers? Who are they? I know people drop names all the time. Who are these people? Are they in Idaho? Are they around Idaho? I found 2, and I won't say anything, but it makes me think that maybe there is somebody that was attending the university at the time that was related, but obviously very strangely related. Through the line, it wouldn't have led to BK's line, for sure. It wouldn't have led to them. But, we can go on a wild goose chase on that one and definitely go through the ringer. But I believe there was someone that knew the individual. And that's all I can say at this point. Did they live in Washington? Did they live in Washington? Oh, that is a great answer. That is a freaking great answer, Susie Littleby. I've often wondered. I don't think it was him, though, but we can guess. I have no proof. I'm just saying we are going on a little field trip here. Okay, so when you start looking at all this from, the side of I guess I want to say, remember, this was a crime of hate and revenge per Turvey's report. If you haven't seen Turvey's report, he spells it all out. That was just on the DNA. And how did we get to Gideon Lauda? Is Gideon Lauda related? I don't know. But Gideon Lauda just update. Humbly, I don't think so. But Gideon Lauda just updated his profile just a few weeks ago, I noticed. Now he's working at the International Committee of the Red Cross, right? He researched and authorized all kinds of things in briefing on the global drone technology landscape and evolving U.S. policy. He's still doing that, but he's in Washington, D.C. now, which I thought was wow. He researched the civilian environment considerations for military war game design and contributed analysis to the presentation for Military Service and Connections Wargaming Conference, which, this guy is a little alluring. He looks like Brian Kohberger to an extent, could be a distant cousin, talking about AI, national security, procedures, analytical summaries. I'm still keeping my eye on this dude, right? I'm still keeping my eye on this dude. I have no doubt in my mind that maybe he is related somehow, some way. Maybe we'll figure it out. Maybe we won't. Okay. And, he doesn't have any pins or drops or if he's been traveling or anything. So, that one's a little hard to put together, but now he's national security and emerging technology policy fellow, y'all. I can't make this up. The thing that I've been talking about the most, all these AI cases, these cases that now have an AI feel and look and story to them, operations, in my opinion. Yeah, he does. He's got the mole on the side. I don't know if you can see this. I've got other pictures of him. He's got the mole in the same spot. Somehow, some way, these guys are both highly intelligent, right? Is that the Gideon Lauda that we should be looking at? I don't know. All these guys promoted or retired. Yeah. But you want to know the oddest thing about the Gideon thing? That would be interesting with the guy that was saying a while ago, Brian was trying to have them touch the knife in sheath. Oh. Huh. Wow. In that book. I don't know. I don't know what's true. We've been fed so much. Whoa, the Red Cross, right? We're all looking. He does look like him. Yep. So too short, isn't he? He's too short? No, I don't think so at all. He's pretty tall. I showed you his mom's Facebook. I bet they'd be cousins. I bet they're distant, right? And how ironic, guys, how ironic if they didn't go down the right line. If they didn't go down the right line, they would have led to another line of offspring. Right here in black and white. Clark Lewis Tyler. In 1910, so we only have to go back 2 generations, and Ellen Burke, they wed. And believe me, I pulled everybody up. We'll go that another, yeah. Yep, I agree. Yep, Red Cross. I totally agree. And it's very cover story, separated from birth, programmed to see how would cope and use their put on your tinfoil breastplate or whatever you guys want to pull out today. Put on your tinfoil hat. Okay, here's yours. Here is your hat, Lulu Bell. This one was made specifically for you. And yeah, pull out your tinfoil hat of choice. Boy, wouldn't that be wild Oh my goodness, that would be wild. I feel like having my, I don't know. Let me put on it. Oh, it's kind of cold in my office. Let me put on my tinfoil scarf. How about that one? They allegedly do. I mean, come on. We've heard a lot of things like MK Ultra is real, and they have an actual list. You can go see if any of your family members may have been on it. Yeah, it's wild. All right. So there's my scarf. All right. I've got my tinfoil scarf on. So if we see these types of errors, right? If we see these types of errors in the reports that came out, yeah, Project Paperclip. But what operation would be in Pennsylvania? If these ancestors, I mean, drop a 1 if you want to go on a wild goose chase real quick with these ancestors. I've got a little bit of time. So we've got about 20 minutes. Pav would be tickled to know we are wearing tinfoil hats. How about tinfoil teeth, tinfoil dentures? How about that one?
You are the greatest of all time.
All right, so I am going to put you in the drawing for the $50 gift card. Real Eyes Analyze. We'll do that at the end of the month in July. Ah, that's too funny. All right. So I am going to I mean we can okay, I see a lot of ones in here. US picked up twin testing when German scientists migrated to USA for clemency and continued science here. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I mean they somehow could be related. Their birthdays are like days apart. That's why I was thinking Showalters have been to connected. Yes, they have been. And Jack was allegedly adopted. Yeah. So, I mean, it is possible, right? So we can go down a little. Let's do that. So let's find out Clark Lewis Tyler. Okay, let's go on a little field trip. Clark Lewis Tyler. Let's see what we can find about Clark Lewis Tyler. Okay, in Pennsylvania. We know that we've got the right state. We know that we've got the right tree. So Clark Lewis Tyler in Pennsylvania. All right, let me just go back one. And his death, Sarah Elizabeth Reed and Clark Eugene Tyler, Father James Tyler. This was in 1842. So we got the right person here. It says 1842 to 1910. All right, let's just see. Tyler, Mary Lewis Clark Tyler. Appalachian, no. Probably be easier to go Burke, but let's go Tyler. Let's see if he's got an obituary in Pennsylvania. Let's see who we are going to find that maybe I've looked at the adoption angle for a bit. Yeah, days apart. Yeah, they were born days apart, like 4 or 5 days. Tyler passed away. Clark Tyler at the age of 70 in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. This is on Legacy. So let's look and see if this is the latest, pretty much the latest family heir. Clark M. Tyler. Oh, you guys can't see this. He was born 1946, passed away in Wilkes-Barre. That's all it says. Wayne Armberg worked with Clark. He was a good friend. Been a while since we talked, but we always exchanged Christmas cards. He will be missed. Wow. All right. So maybe we have to go down the other line. Hold on a minute. And that would be Ellen Burke. And that would lead to, what did they say, JS? Hold on. JS or AV? Hold on, let me just see. SC. There was another. Here it is. I have to show you this too. So you guys have to understand. The FBI found 2 key matches that Othram did not find. And this was higher. This was the value higher. 250 cm. 250 cm is the high. Is JS. And then they found an AV at 107. That's still higher than 70, and then still higher than the other one they put in there that they didn't see at, what was it? Just 6 days later, I think it was lower than that, 90. So this is even higher, 250 cm. Okay, so 250. All right, so it just means that it basically is the highest or higher. So here's the deal. Here's the deal. If you guys know a little bit about CMs, I'm just going to drop this in the chat. And here is a description. Here is a description. So that would have been, I'm going to say, let me see if I'm right. Maybe a second cousin. Not a first cousin. It would have been a second cousin. So brothers, 4 brothers. Or even a sister would have 4 siblings. Because remember, on Kohberger, there's mother's side, they didn't find anything. Holy shit. Oh my God. So it's centimorgans is the genetic distance. Okay. So a parent is about 34,000. A full sibling is about 25. And then first cousins is 800 to 1,300. Second cousins are 200 to 400. They're saying in this FBI document, they may have went down and found the right cousin if they went down the right. If they would have went down the right tree, they would have found the exact culprit instead of going the wrong tree and finding Brian Kohberger. It could have even been a third cousin for all we know. Okay? So the FBI did write in this report, in the expert report. Whoops, sorry, wrong one. They did put in here the FBI. Let me enlarge this. The FBI found 2 key matches that Othram did not find. JS at 250. So at 250, this would have been a second cousin. At 107, that would have been a freaking third cousin. Oh my God, they could have had the right person. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. How are the odds that these people ended up in the same area in Washington, folks? I really don't, if you know me, I don't believe in coincidences. There had to have been a reason that somebody chose Washington from Pennsylvania to go to. Why was he picked out of only 2 top people to go there? Holy moly. Think about this. The FBI said they found more than 20,000 matches with it, which is not possible from just the family tree DNA and GEDmatch probe databases. GEDmatch caps the match list at 3,000. This is an expert telling them The FBI, the IGG, whoever did this screwed up massively, in their opinion. I suspected they uploaded and modified their I can't make this one up. Holy shit. Are we watching Spy Wars? Listen to what the expert said. I typically see 3,000 to 6,000 matches of family tree DNA for someone of mixed Italian ancestry. It's fewer than 10,000 matches total, whereas the FBI said there was 20,000 matches. That's not. I suspected they uploaded their modified file. The FBI loaded their modified file into the Israeli company MyHeritage, which explicitly forbids forensic searches in their database, which would violate the DOJ policy for FGG. Are we playing SPY wars? Oh my goodness. This is the expert. Ultimately, in response to the order of defendants' fourth and fifth motions to compel discovery, the FBI admitted by using both MyHeritage and GEDmatch, the layperson version, the indirect violation of the DOJ policy, whether also they uploaded through and the layperson portal to family tree DNA is unclear. And then it says right here, terms and conditions. MyHeritage terms and conditions in effect 9 November 22 read: using the DNA services for law enforcement purposes, forensic examinations, criminal investigations, cold case investigations, identified of deceased people, location of relatives of deceased people using cadaver DNA or small or similar purposes is strictly prohibited unless a court order is obtained. It is our policy to resist law enforcement inquiries to protect the privacy of our customers. What is the big goal? And it is possible that AV shares, that would be a second cousin. There is no direct relationship, but because they have multiple distant ancestors from the same region in Italy, because MyHeritage algorithm or both. Wow. Even if there's no matches, remember I told you and she even says it right here. Boy, I know my shit. No matches to the forensic sample were related through BK's mother. I pointed that out when going over that. In other words, even if the matches to JS and AV were obtained legally, legitimately, and even if the match to AV was not affected by endogamy, the FGG search did not identify Mr. Kohberger. Several other men in extended Kohberger family fit those DNA matches. Oh my God. Oh my God. What if this comes back to someone who lives in Las Vegas, Nevada? What if this comes back to someone else? This blows my mind. This is wild. Has described FGG as the Wild West because of the lack of accountability, independent oversight, and professional and ethical standards. For a robust defense, the accused should have to have complete access to all records and data that should have been preserved from every phase of the FGG analysis. They couldn't even provide a chain of custody. They couldn't even provide the answers to the defense. They couldn't even provide records because no one can get into the database. And that is what Anne was arguing. They had no access. It could cost $30,000 to $50,000. The defense needs to know which genealogy databases were used. The defense needs to know whether endogamy is impacting the DNA interpretation. The defense needs to contact the DNA matches to confirm their relationship and consent to FGG matching. And the defense needs to know whether the Department of Justice interim policy on FGG was violated. What did Hitler not understand about this genetic genealogy? If you don't know, just look the other way. I am freaking hot. No workflow, absolutely. No proof, no documents. Just based on someone's, the DNA matched. Matched who? Matched what? Matched where? How? In conclusion, my review of the discovery thus far indicates that Othram's genealogies could not identify Mr. Kohberger. The FBI, we know they took back over the case, modified the original SMP data file, which Anne fought for in court, and uploaded their version of forbidden database in violation of the DOJ policy and the terms of services of those databases. The FBI would have not identified Mr. Kohberger so quickly had they followed protocol. Wow. I wonder if the Israelis own more genetic databases that we're just not apprised of, that we're not aware of, that we have no knowledge. And that was the expert. That was the expert of the experts that I talked about. That is just wild. Remember, I talked about her before. That is just wild. DNA Geek. This is her website. Wow. I should contact her. I am so dumbfounded how they could let him plead. How could someone, oh my God, I'm about ready to get worked up and scream to high heavens after reading Cyray's report yesterday and going through the family genealogy and looking at Gideon, if Gideon could be a connection. And let's get back on track, folks. Let's get back on track. How could the prosecution allow a man to plead guilty if they knew he may have not been guilty? From a lack of embarrassment, from a lack of shame, from a lack of Upload that to your AI, folks. Let's see what it thinks now. Who do you think set up the first DNA profile? Well, they said it was an alias. Unlawful. Unlawful. Wow. Jeez. I am almost left speechless. Left speechless. So Clark M. Tyler, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, passed away February 29th of 2020. Let me see what else I can find on Clark. Wow. What a random mess. How is someone going to fix this mess? How do you think our justice system would fix this mess? Ann Taylor had all this information. She had this information, guys. How could someone allow someone to plead guilty knowing this? How could the court allow this? The best case scenario would be $8 million, folks. $8 million, folks. Honey, this report was written on January 22nd, 2025, and was put into the repository on the 23rd of January, 2025. almost 5 months, 4 months before he took a plea deal. Before he took a plea deal. And she is at the she has a degree from Pennsylvania at the University of Texas in Austin. This is one of the, Larkin, she's one of the experts. It is insane. Taylor had all this information. And then I keep thinking this picture. What if he's just some autistic guy minding his own business, doing whatever he needs to do, no wrongdoing found in their investigation at WSU, especially after the FBI grilled his professor a couple of times in interviews. How could the state of Idaho allow this to happen? If they made a mistake, they should have said, hey, we made a mistake. We don't want to have egg on our face. We don't want to go to trial and then have somebody that they have plastered all over the mainstream media is guilty, now found innocent by a jury. How could they ever fix that? How could they ever fix that one? So, why do you think we all were shocked when there was a plea deal coming out? I was dumbfounded the day I heard. I was like, there's no way. And then, of course, Brian Enton comes in and says, well, he's going to plead out. What in the world, Idaho? I couldn't imagine my life being ruined this way. I would be pissed off. He does look betrayed. The justice system betrayed him. His whole entire life's work right in his lap. Wow. 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 Smearing his name all over, even if he still has that name. His life will never be the same wherever he goes. What if it's just some autistic guy, smart, mind you, just wanted to do his studies? Wow. What about the victims? What about the victims in this case? It is something larger. I believe that, in my humble opinion. Yeah, a lot of people's lives on the line, a lot of people's careers on the line. Okay, so do me a favor. Remember, we're going to still run through this Gideon thing. All right? We're going to still follow the clues. We're going to go wherever it takes us. Grab a snack, a drink real quick. We're going to do about 10 more minutes, and then we're going to sign off. And tomorrow's live stream you don't want to miss. Boy, oh boy. Do y'all have a good idea who the informant was? Well, if you get a chance, there is a show I want you to watch. I want to talk about it too. I like to talk about things like this. And it was on Hulu. And it is, oh gosh, let me see if I took a screenshot. Damn, this was so good. This was freaking amazing. Shocking ending. I'm not going to give you any spoiler alerts. Okay? All right? Not going to give you any spoiler alerts. If you get a chance, watch Murder in the 21st Century on Hulu if you have access to Hulu. Annie. And it is the digital case. Hold on a minute. Type as fast as I can. Let me just make sure that's the right one. Hold on a minute. I think even on here it is. I think it's on YouTube too. You can go and look. It is the digital case. I don't know if they have that on there yet, but no, it's the new season. Hold on. Let me see. There is it's an episode. It's a series. Here it is. And it is, yeah, they do have it on YouTube. Let me go ahead and put it in here for you. I'll give you the YouTube, and then you can go watch that so that you don't have to pay for anything. Has anybody seen it? Anybody at all? Here's the link. You've seen it, Lulu Bell. Isn't it great? Oh my gosh. Okay, here is the actual video. The link, I just put it below. And it is on YouTube. It's season 1, episode 1. Oh my gosh. We're going to talk about this. Okay. I think it's called Search for a Missing 19-Year-Old That Ends in Tragedy. This is a twist. It came out August 23rd, 2025. But I went back to this episode because there is a freaking wild twist at the end. Okay. If you've not seen it, go watch it. Let me just show you real quick. It's right here on YouTube. You can watch it for free. And let me pop it up there. This has got such a twist. You're going to think, oh, I know who did it. I did the same thing. It is such a twist. But wait, because I'm letting you know that these are fake accounts. I am a clown. Okay. You must have just came in. People not realize, because I mean no disrespect, just pointing it out. Okay. So there is such a twist in this case, guys. It says basic not available in your country. Darn it. I don't know if you get Hulu or you can stream Hulu, but definitely try. Now, you think you know who it is, but at the end is such a twist. It will blow your mind. It will blow your mind. Okay, so let's get back to Gideon. I don't want to get sidetracked too much. So Gideon. So Gideon knows Paul Masad. Paul Masad's dad is this guy. Okay? And there's his brother Peter. Paul and Peter know Gideon, and so does the dad. So I went around just poking, and I hate to do this sometimes, but whatever comes up is all public. Okay, so I go and I take a look at the Department of Transportation. I don't know why this came up, but under the search, there came up this document, right? And all I did was put Gideon. Gideon Amer is in business. P&G Auto Investments in Kings Road in Nampa, Idaho. And that is the number associated with and their license number. Okay. So Gideon Amer, who was, I'm just going to say, they are most likely to be Gideon Amer that was hanging out with Dylan that night. Okay. Why do I say this? Remember the interview I showed you much earlier on Reed Offstrom? Drop a 1 if you remember that, if you were here. All right. Reed Offstrom. I can't even say his name right. There's a lot of information out there. So Outcast had the interview on his channel. And let me just play you a real quick clip so you understand the brotherhood and what they do. You might be aware, you might not be. Okay, I'm just going to prove it because it came out of his own mouth. Okay. How do they get into a party? Does anybody know? Anybody know how they get into a party? Well, I'll show you. This is the president's own words. 100% his own words. All right. Let me get over there. I don't know why it's not letting me share it with you. Okay, here we go. That's over at Outcast. You can go, I'll drop his link below. You can watch that. You can listen to the whole thing in detail, but I just want to take a clip real quick from it and listen to what he says. How do they get into a party over at the frat?
And there's a front door, and we have someone up there with the laptop and the list, letting people in and out and telling people if they can get in or not.
Okay.
And so up top, we have 2 different colored wristbands. When they get to the door, if they are 21, we give them a certain color wristband. If they're underage, we give them a different color wristband. But the wristbands are helped differentiate, 1, those who came through the door and got checked, and then 2, to make sure, like, if someone sneaks in, we're able to notice them, quickly because they won't have a wristband.
Okay.
So it's kind of help mediate people sneaking in, and then also checking the ages of all of our guests. But it really was kind of like our normal parties, nothing really out of the normal we remember occurring. It actually went quite well, we believed. And then it went from, oh goodness, I believe it was 9:30, and then we shut it down at 1, almost exactly at 1 o'clock that morning.
Okay.
And then I think I have a couple people I reached out to in the house, and they kind of mentioned seeing them, both Ethan and Xana, at the party.
Okay, let's stop it
But
there.
once we shut it down, people start to trickle out and leave.
Okay, let's shut it down there. So you know how they get in the party. It's pretty secure. So over here, I'm thinking, who's Gideon? I 100% believe it had to have been somebody that was there in the college. It had to have been Gideon Amer. Are you guys with me? I don't think it could have been the guy who looks like Brian Kohberger. I don't think it was somebody that is an ISP detective. I mean, that was really interesting how he would have known to be in the area so fast, unless he lives in that area. But I'll keep looking to see if he, in fact, lived in Boise. That's just, the delay in 8 hours is just really odd. It's either they were on scene, they had to assess, and that's for the 8-hour delay, and then they had to call 911 again so it wouldn't be in the middle of the night, and or it happened the way they say at a different time, which I believe is at a different time, and then there was an 8-hour delay because they had to figure out what they were going to do and how they were going to cover this up. So it's either one or the other. It can't be both. And tomorrow we're going to talk about opposites, okay? So when I go back to Gideon Amer, I start looking at some things that are of interest, right? Gideon Amer is in business with his friends, Peter and Paul. And obviously their background is very interesting, all right? Let me just leave it at that. You guys can go dig a little bit more. I don't try to get into anything that's too controversial, only for my safety and my benefit. That's all I have to say about that. But you can go do a research on who Paul Nasir Masad is. That last name, right? And you can even take it one step further. Gideon Amer and Isabella O'Neill, they have a registry, and that came right off of Google. It will give you a complete background and summarize who he is. He wasn't with Sigma Chi. There's no history of him perhaps with Sigma Chi, but Ignite Young Adults, that's one of the things that I showed you that he is affiliated with, that they interviewed him and all that great stuff. Okay. There is this guy who is the dad of Peter and Paul that Amer is in business with. This is the vice president of pharmacy operations at Albertsons Safeway in Boise. Yeah, they're all in the Boise area, folks. But Peter and Paul have a business, and it is allegedly, well, it's in black and white right here. Let me show you. Peter, I'm trying to find Paul. Paul, his business is right here. And guess what they do? They're a used car dealership owner. All right? He's the owner of P&G Auto Investments in Caldwell, Nampa, Caldwell area. But what do? They specialize in sourcing quality used vehicles for JD Auto PDX, a trusted auto dealership based in Portland, Oregon. My role involves locating and inspecting cars across Idaho, assessing their condition value and marketing before negotiating and purchasing behalf of dealership. Yeah. With an eye for detail and a strong knowledge of automotive standards, I help ensure our inventory meet both our quality standards and customers' expectations. Boise resident assistant, Boise State University Business Administration, and you can go and do the rest of your homework. And one thing for sure, there is a lot of stuff going on. There's another company that was off of the state website. Oh, shoot. You guys didn't even see what I was showing you. Dang it. How did I do that? This one. Why is it not moving over? There you go. All right. So that was Paul Masad. That last name. And I don't know. I haven't linked and made the connection, but I'm very curious at some of their businesses. Let's just say that. All right. Not my job to figure out. But if you Google the address for the company that I showed you on the website, 424 North Kings Road, this is the business that pops up. 424. This is 102. Let me just see if this is 102. Suite 102. It matches this place on Facebook. Now, I don't know how accurate this is. This was posted in 21. We are back in business. I don't know. Yeah. Interesting stuff. Go search around. Everything is clearly. Oh, hold on a minute. I just found this. So Gideon Roberts, Idaho State Police Chapter 2. It says he was the president on this website. Oh, where was it? Shoot. I just clicked on it. Dang it. And it says that it's in Lewiston. So he's out of Lewiston. So that is, let's just throw him out of the loop. I don't think he was hanging out with Dylan. We know how they get into the parties. We know how busy it can get. And I would say 9 out of 10, he was probably hanging around with this guy, Gideon Amer. So Gideon Amer, I believe, oh gosh. Doesn't Zach Kopaka work in automotives too? Doesn't he work in the automotive industry? Doesn't he in Lewiston? Don't they have something in common? Well, I'll keep digging. You know me. I'll bring you receipts. I'll bring you everything that I have to your table so that you can make informed, logical decisions of what we are looking at, what we're finding, and what we're searching for. Because we all come here for one thing, to find the truth. And by the way, before I leave you with this, Gideon Amer was in another frat in Boise that it was, shoot, what was it? Dang it. I closed that tab. Dang it. I'm saying, I think humbly, in my opinion, we found the right Gideon Amer. I think so. Quad Cities. Yep. All interesting how it connects 6 degrees of separation. Love on my mods. Thank you so much. Like, hype, and share, tag. Do whatever you got to do. I am being hidden, but I'm still here. Great live. Thank you. Thank you so much for your love and support. Y'all be well. Enjoy your other streams and all the information that's coming out. Oh, I have so much to tell you. There's just not enough time in the day. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Thank my mods. Y'all are amazing.
Yeah, this is my road. Let it roll. Pack Like my dreams in a beat up leather case, left the dust of that suffocating place. They said a girl like me should stay in line, but I'd rather lose their map than lose my mind. Tune the radio to a station playing wild and free. Windows down, smelling like the pine trees. 500 miles and I'm just getting started. Say goodbye to the heavy hearted. Oh, nobody's holding the reins tonight. I'm chasing the edge of the morning light. This is my highway, my open sky. I've got the wings and I'm ready to fly. No, yeah, the lines can tie me down. I'm leaving my tracks all over this town. Freedom, freedom, yeah. Now they call me an outlaw, call me a breeze, shaking the leaves right off of the trees. Ain't no speed limits on the choices I make, with every single risk that I happily take. Got a heart like an engine, loud and true, writing my own rules. Nothing brand new, just an old soul singing with the modern beat, dusting off the pavement under my feet. This is my highway, my open sky. I've got the wind, can tie me down. I'm leaving my tracks all over this town. Freedom, freedom, yeah, ooh, yeah. And if I get lost in the dark of the night, I know my own stars will show me the light. No more shadows to cover my face. I'm running my pace, I'm winning my race. Freedom, yeah, just let it roll.